What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here. Kelly K9. We're feeling pretty good. Always feels better when you have when you come off a win. Make it, especially when you're losing a couple in a row. We had the bye week. It took forever. So if you guys are rolling in, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit the share, all that kind of good stuff. Be part of the show. It should be a fun one tonight. It's always good when you're playing the Eagles. But before we get rolling, Kelly, shout out to Josie. I don't know if you saw that all over my timeline. She did she posted I thought it was a cute video, just being fun, it's up to 9 million views. 9 million, Kelly. I mean, and the worst is I love reading the comments, and people are just so mean. Some of it's funny, but some of it's just so mean. So mean. But she's having fun with it. She's having fun with it. So what's up, man?
Yeah, no, I saw that too. I thought it was pretty cool. I think some of the comments are terrible though. God, man, people are vicious. It's funny how many people hate fun. You know what I mean?
Know.
Or people, I mean, like if you think something is embarrassing, or you think something is cringe, or whatever the phrase that you want to use is, like if you think that you personally, like, why does it bother you that somebody else is doing it? It ain't hurting you. Like, it don't hurt you that somebody else is having fun and enjoying life and living in the moment. Like, let people fucking live, man. Look, I mean, I see people do things sometimes that I may not, I'm like, man, I don't have enough, like, whatever, self-confidence maybe to do that, or to dress like this, or to wear this particular outfit that somebody may be wearing, right? But that don't mean I'm going to sit there and make fun of them and hate on them for it, man. People are just so fucking bitter in life, dude. I loved it. I
just move on. I just don't. I'll move on. Like if I see,
just keep on, just keep scrolling. There's no need to put somebody down or try to make somebody, that I'm telling you, man. Self-hate and insecurity is a real thing, man. People are just, I don't know, man, but I love her. I love it when she's dancing and doing the nice things. And she got to watch the Raiders. It was a cool story. She got to watch it with her dad, be there with her dad. And I thought it was just awesome, man. It was a great moment. So I hope she's out there dancing right now and not letting any of these haters bother her. Let it roll off her like water off a duck's back, man. Fuck them.
Right, but no, good for him. Good for her. I mean, happy she was able to enjoy that game. I wish I was in Vegas. That would have been, that would have been a nice game for us to go to see the Cowboys kind of show some life. I mean, let's talk a little bit about it. We're obviously going to look forward into this Sunday's game because now is the pivotal stretch, and we know it's the Raiders, but the defense, man, set the tone, and I mean, if this is something that we're going to be able to see, Quinnen Williams and the secondary, I mean, Malik Hooker, making some plays, and Revel out there, and Bland making, rebounding from a rough game, and the linebackers, and just, I mean, Houston was out. I mean, everyone was joining the party. They look like inspired, and obviously kneeling, maybe that is something, obviously this team's feeding off of. You can just see the emotion on the players' faces, throughout the whole game, pregame, postgame, during the game. But man, they finally showed some life, man. Just wanted to see some passion, and they really showed it on Monday night.
Yeah, man, and I don't like to try to be too negative over anything, but I also try not to go like too over the top with it. Like, yes, I understand, as well as I think most Dallas Cowboys fans understand, that it was the Las Vegas Raiders, right? It was the Raiders. We understand that. But I mean, listen, we're coming off a Monday night game where we just made Jacoby Brissett look like Joe Montana. So, listen, I'm not going to sit there and look at a guy that, Geno Smith has the capabilities of playing like a very good quarterback. I mean, he took Seattle, I think, to the playoffs the year after Russell Wilson got let go. So it's not like he's a bad quarterback. He's got a great tight end in Brock Bowers, who I thought was going to be, could have the possibility of being a problem for us. They held Ashton Genty to, like, I think 7 yards. I mean, we haven't been able to stop the run. We absolutely stopped the run. I mean, Ashton Genty ain't really been doing a whole bunch this year anyway, but I'm just saying, you got to look at the positives.
You stop any running back to 6 carries for 7 yards. I'll give a shit who it is.
Yeah, I exactly. And so I'm just saying, like, I'm going to I'm not trying to go too much over the top, because that's the thing, is if you start saying too many good things, people are like, oh, you're going over the top. But at the same time, what do you want me to do? You not want me to ignore the things that I saw that were positive? Absolutely not. That's not what our job is to do. We're coming in here trying to tell you what we saw, what we like. Quinnen Williams is a dog. Quinnen Williams is a dog. He was worth the first round. He's worth everything that we gave up for him. I can promise you that. Love having this dude on the roster. I would argue, and I don't want to be the person that is always kind of going back, because I said that I hated it when he was throwing back shots. I would argue that Quinnen Williams will make a bigger impact on this defense than Micah Parsons could ever make on this defense. And I'm telling you that because I say that Quinnen Williams will make an impact in every single game. There were games, regardless of how great Micah Parsons' talent was, there were games where sometimes his impact was not felt. There were times when that happened. Quinnen Williams is going to be a dog every single game. He is going to clog up the middle. He's going to make life easier on them linebackers. He's going to create that internal pressure. And when you've got it, makes Odigizua better, because you've got those two playing together. It makes it better for the edge rushers. It makes everybody along that defensive line better when you have a guy that can play to the caliber of Quinnen Williams' talent. And he is going to make an impact on this defense, not only for the rest of this season, but we're going to see it into next season. And I think we'll have him for 2 more years? I think it's 2 years.
Yeah, at least. And
so we're going to have him on this defense for a couple of years. And that excites me, because we have not had a defensive tackle, an interior line presence like this, like what we have now. I don't remember the last time the Dallas Cowboys had something like this. It's been a very long time.
Leroy Glover. I mean, that's how far back you got to go. I mean, really, true defensive tackle that was a Pro Bowl level year in and year out was, the Cowboys got Leroy Glover from the Rams back in the 2000s. One of the great teams, but he was a good piece of it. But I agree with you with Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle. I mean, when you get a guy that can make that much of a difference, and we'll talk about Philly, and Philly has a guy like that, and you saw what the Rams obviously did with Aaron Donald. It's hard to scheme against them, because you can scheme, you can double them up, but you're running into problems where if you got the edge rusher, you know where he's coming from on that side. You can run away from him. You can chip him. You can do all these different things. I mean, Quinnen Williams is going to be a difference maker. And this game is won in the trenches. And you saw it with the offensive line. Give kudos. I mean, we're hard on Steele, but Steele answered the bell and played a pretty damn good game. For the Cowboys on the right tackle, dealing with Crosby most of that night. But the offensive line running the football, we talked about it, right? You got to get back to running the football. Play action pass is where Dak Prescott's at his best. And when you get and establish that run, good things are going to happen. And dare I say, I mean, between George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson getting, back in the game and getting back and going. And you saw Hunter Lipke, you saw, using that weapon in key spots. So the offensive line, or the offense overall, is cruising along. They're back on track, but the defense is what we wanted to see. And it was really just good. It felt great. It felt good to see a defense, put it up. Now I put my money where my mouth is. I put $300 on the game, because my pride got the best of me. I got sick of people talking about it. I said, there's no way that they're going to play this bad against the Raiders. Thankfully, they won, and I got my $600, and I'm happy. But it was definitely good to see. But I couldn't agree more with Williams. What'd you think about Overshown? What'd you think about Revel? It was good. They got snaps, not heavy. And I think it's better that they weren't pressed in to have to play so much. But what was your observations of that? And you guys in the chat's on fire, by the way. I mean, we're on fire. It's going to be a hard time keeping up with it.
I absolutely liked what I saw with Overshown. I was glad. I think that they'll have to ease him back in. You got to protect players from themselves sometimes when they're coming back from injuries. Keep them on that snap count, because you're thinking long term right now with Overshown, obviously, and you don't want him to suffer any more injuries. And because when he's out there, he's a difference maker. And you see it. There was a play that he made. Can't really remember exactly when in the game it was, what quarter it was, but there was a play that he made where they were trying to run something out to the edge, and Overshown was there to clean it up. And I think it was Troy Aikman that said, there's where Overshown, the impact of Overshown is felt. He still even coming back from this injury, people said, what, how will that affect his speed? How will that affect this or that or whatever? Still looked like he had that sideline to sideline speed to me. He's the kind of guy that can cut off the edges because he's got that sideline to sideline speed, and he's got that vision, and he's got that instinct. So I love to see it, and I think that it's a domino effect in terms of when your front defensive line is good, it makes everything from the front to the back get better, right? So you see less blown assignments in terms of DBs having guys run wide open. You've got your linebackers that are easier to shoot the run gaps. They're easier to play the edges because they're not having to shed. They're not having to get in there and shed off O-line blocks because your DTs are cleaning that up. Everything just looks smoother. It looks easier. It looks better. And I think that's, it's that domino effect from now you've got a defensive front that can create pressure that makes, it uncomfortable on the quarterback, makes it hard to run the ball, which makes things easier on your back end. So I think that everything looked really good against the Raiders. I thought every phase of it looked well. And, one of the things that we didn't see a lot of as well was penalties. This team is a team that's been heavily penalized and a lot. We see pre-snap penalties. That Arizona game was terrible. It was just looked like an undisciplined team. Yeah. And it feels like they got things right during this bye week and came out, like you said, with some emotion, with some, basically just, with a mission. They came out on a mission. They were locked in, lasered locked in, and they played a great game. They played a complete game.
Let's be honest, right, Kelly? Like, you should not lose to a team with 2 wins. I think everyone would agree. You should not be losing to teams with 2 wins. And, so we can't get excited. It'd be embarrassing.
Well,
do you think it's embarrassing to lose to a team with only 2 wins?
I think it would, but hell, we just lost to the Arizona Cardinals.
I just want to, because this dumbass Eagle fan is talking about it's the Raiders, but you got your ass beat by the 2-win Giants. What the hell happened there? We beat the 2-win team like we're supposed to. You stupid idiots, running your mouth. You set me up perfectly, Kelly. I just wanted to do that. I saw that comment and I was salivating.
You can't really sit there and listen to Carl because he's never going to say. He just literally comes in here to try to pump up his Eagles and talk down on the Cowboys. It's his hobby, man. You know what I mean? I may think it's funny. And kind of a little bit of clownish behavior, but it's fine. That's his shtick, man. You know what I mean? I don't expect much else from Carl.
When they say that, and then it's like, well, you just got your ass whooped by a 2-win Giant team with a
he did.
Quarterback and a rookie running back. They didn't know what direction that team was going,
The Giants smacked them around. The Giants literally smacked the Eagles around big time. So I wouldn't be sitting there talking too much shit when it's fine. The Eagles got their,
It's football. In all seriousness, that is why you have to be prepared to play for Sunday. These guys, you got
the Broncos. The Broncos are out there with one of the best records in the NFC. They beat the Raiders 10-7.
Yeah,
it was a 10-7 game. It was not any kind of blowout. Listen, any given Sunday, and I tell you this right now, teams bring their A game when the Dallas Cowboys come to town. You better believe it. They every single team that plays the Cowboys, they get up for the Cowboys. That is, and for the Raiders, might as well consider that their damn Super Bowl. You don't tell me that they didn't want to beat the Cowboys in a bad way. Hell, when the Cowboys were taken down and taking a knee in the fourth quarter, Max Crosby was trying to come across the line.
I know.
He didn't want him to be in victory formation. He wanted to keep going. The Raiders wanted that win. They wanted it bad, and the Cowboys came in there and they took it. Period.
You know what they did though, taking that knee. I don't know if you know. Yeah, I don't know how much you follow the betting lines.
I seen.
It was the over under was I think it was 49.5, and we're at 49 points, and all they had to do was 2 minutes. You figure they're going to run it, get a field goal. It would have shifted to the over. And so you had some pissed off. I know there was a lot of pissed off bettors that were like, why are you taking a knee? But Schottenheimer and Carroll go way back. He wasn't going to rub it in his face. There was no reason to. So you knew that he was going to do that given the opportunity. He was just going to take the knee. But looking at it, let's get into it a little bit, man. Round two, you got the Eagles and you got the Cowboys. I mean, make no mistake about it. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. I don't know if they're the best team in the NFC. But it's kind of interesting. You look at the numbers. Eagles are 16th in scoring offense. Dallas is second. Yards per game, the Eagles are 25th in the NFL. Dallas is third. Eagles only averaging 300 yards a game, but they keep winning. Time of possession, pretty much even. Both of them at about 30 minutes apiece. Defensive sacks, Cowboys 16th, the Eagles 21st. That should be sacks allowed probably. Defensive interceptions, basically the same, which is as bad as our defense is, 6 and 5. But the big difference with the Eagles, and this is going to be one of those keys, is turnover differential. Eagles are at a +6. Dallas is at a -4. Dallas has got to get that turned around if they have any chance in this run that we talked about. But looking at the Eagles, obviously it starts and ends with their defense. Their offense is kind of terrible. They've just been sputtering along. But the defense has been dominant, especially that defensive interior has been dominant and wrecking havoc on these teams, and that's why they're in these close matchups. What is kind of your first observation when you see this round two? I will throw out a couple stats for everybody. Dak Prescott's 21-2 at home against the NFC East in his career. He's 6-1 at home against the Eagles. So what say you when you first see this matchup?
The first thing that I look at right here is that, the Eagles, the one thing that stands out about the Philadelphia Eagles right now is that they just find ways to win. Doesn't really seem how sloppy it is. Doesn't really that messy. They just find ways to win. And I'm just spitting out a little bit of honesty, man, because, I try to say that I'm not going to be a guy that's not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to always keep it real and call it how I see it. Look, if roles were reversed, I don't give a shit what anybody said about my team or that we were lucky or this or that. I don't give a damn. Winning is winning, and they've won 8 games. And so that's not easy to do in this league. Regardless, they find ways to win. That's what I think is impressive about Philly is when they need to make plays, they've found a way to make plays to pull out wins, whether it's been close games or what. They've found ways to win.
Give them credit for it. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm giving them credit for it. They do have a great defense. I saw a stat today that I think it said that 35-year-old tight end Zach Ertz has more touchdowns than AJ Brown. I think that's kind of crazy to think about that. I think that they're AJ Brown, that dynamic, that thing is just it's so close to blowing up.
It's one game, and this could be the game. It could be the game.
It is a hair trigger. Yes, it's a hair trigger away from this thing just blowing up on Philly and AJ Brown. Because here's the thing, it almost reminds me, not quite, but almost reminds me of a Terrell Owens situation. Yeah. I mean, it's getting very close to that, and and I know Philly doesn't want to. I know Philly doesn't really want to talk about that. Philly fans, though, they want to ignore it. They say, "Hey, we're winning. That's all that matters." AJ Brown hasn't shut his mouth. AJ Brown wants to be involved in this offense. The fact that he's not getting involved, he's becoming increasingly frustrated. He's basically taking shots at Jalen Hurts. He's taking shots at the offensive coordinator. He hasn't called him out by name, but we all know who he's talking about when he says these things. We all know. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure these things out. So, the first game, Dallas put clamps on their wide receivers. I mean, none of them really did anything. I think Devontae Smith or it wasn't Devontae Smith. It was Jahan Dotson that had the one big play on the Cowboys secondary. But, I mean, outside of that, Jalen Hurts did not have a great day.
Well, I mean, and Barkley has not rushed for a lot of yards a game. He's averaging under 4 yards a carry. So, I mean, the whole offense is kind of sputtered.
Yeah, I think 60-some yards a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think like some 60-some yards a game. So, I mean, the thing is, like, if our offense can go out and perform like they have been performing, if our offense can do that, I give us a great shot to win, because
yeah.
I just don't see Philly scoring a lot of points. We're playing at home. We play better at home. This defense does look a lot different than what they did in week 1. I think they'll be, if we win that game, if CeeDee Lamb catches a couple of passes, we win that game if we don't, if we don't have a fumble down at the goal line. But, ultimately, you can look back and say, hey, this play, this play, this play. But if CeeDee Lamb catches a couple of balls in the fourth quarter, we win that game. And
let me
honestly,
just add a couple nuggets in the chat, because they've been good points. And I was going to bring this up, but I was trying to find it, so I apologize to give you the credit. But George Pickens really was not what he is now. I mean, he was not what he is, and they're missing their best tackle is out. So
yes,
so
yep, and so it's a different team offensively. I feel different team offensively, and I think that this team is a lot more explosive than what Philly saw in week 1. And I mean, I'll go as far as to say that this will be the most explosive offense that Philly will face this year. Right now, as it stands, Dallas is as hot as they get. You've got Ferguson that's playing some of the best football of his career. George Pickens absolutely is playing the best football of his career. CeeDee Lamb is just as dependable and reliable as always. Dak Prescott's playing great. Look, this team is poised for an upset. They are, and I honestly, after that Monday night game in Arizona, if you would have asked me what did I think about, these games, I probably would have told you that we could win against Oakland, but or Las Vegas, but honestly, that was still a little bit up in the air for me. I thought we could very well lose that game as well. And I thought it could be a very close game, closely contested game. Now I'm to the point where it's not that I think that because of the Oakland win, or I always say Oakland, not because of the Raiders win, that I think that we're going to just like run the table. But it gave me positive signs to look at this team and say, we can absolutely beat Philly. We can absolutely beat Philly. Now, Kansas City and Detroit, maybe a different story. They pose different challenges. But with how Philadelphia is struggling offensively and how we're operating offensively, I think that gives the Cowboys the edge in this game.
Yeah, it's really, honestly, this game is going to come as we have all these great skill guys, right? We have all these great skill guys. And I mean, to me, it's still going to come down to the trenches. It's going to come down to their defensive tackles versus our interior linemen with BB, with Booker, Tyler Smith. It's going to come down to our interior. I tweeted this out. Kelly, did you ever think that we're going to say it's going to come down to the strength of our defense, our defensive tackles versus their offensive line? Did you ever think that we would say that we've got probably one of the best defensive tackle duos in the NFL and the depth that we have there? Did you ever think that you'd ever say that? I mean, it's crazy that we're even saying this, but it's going to come down to the trenches. It's really going to come down. Take all the skill guys all over the place. If Dak Prescott, where he struggles, is right up the gut. If they pressure him up the gut, get in his face, he's not able to step up. That's going to be a problem. Jalen Hurts, it's going to be the same thing for him. If we up the gut, give him pressure, and we stop the run, which I think we'll be able to do, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding for either one of them. But I've got some confidence in the Cowboys getting him enough time, and I think our skill position players with Dak Prescott at quarterback is better than what Philly has. Just my opinion.
And I think so too. I mean, it's not that I haven't been impressed by Philadelphia. I just think that they look like a team that is a beatable team. And again, wouldn't surprise me if Philadelphia ended up finding some way to win this. No, because they've done it all year. And I think that this, but what I saw from this Cowboys team coming out of the bye week, I just thought that they looked different. They looked different. The penalties got scaled back. The offense looked clean. The defense looked better. They were putting pressure on the quarterback. They were, guys were playing their assignments and doing it well. So I just like I like this
I
team's
gave you a
chance.
key. I gave one key in the interior. I know that's a big key, right? That's a big one. Give me one, and you guys in the chat if you've got some. But I mean, what is something that you're going to be looking for that we could watch and we say, you know what? Hey, Kelly said this might happen. I think it means good things for Dallas. I mean, what's one of the keys that you have for this game?
One of the keys that I have for this game.
Cowboys are going to win. This shit has to happen.
So I think that our run lane integrity. I think it was terrible in the first game. We would contain and basically cut off the receivers, but then that run lane would open up, and Jalen Hurts right up the middle. There was several plays he made where he just ran straight up the gut. And I think that was due to having guys on the defensive line that were not able to maintain their lanes. And I think that it also had to do with some of our linebackers. I think a guy like Overshown is a guy who will, I think you could see spying Jalen Hurts and keeping him in those lanes, because if you do, then you force Jalen Hurts to pass, which they haven't done very well. And
No.
I think that if they're able to create pressure, and I think if they're able to keep him within the pocket and hold that run lane integrity, then I think that the Cowboys can win that game. And I think that they will be able to do that with the addition of Quinnen Williams, with Overshown out there, with Logan Wilson out there. I think that those guys will, they bring a better package of linebackers from what we saw in week one. I don't think you'll see some of those same, the Red Sea parting for Jalen Hurts to get those easy runs that got them a lot of first downs that helped them stay in that game and be competitive and win that game.
Wasi Burns to stop Saquon for getting those little screens. I mean, they love to run, short passes. I mean, I agree 100% on that. But, to the point, I think we got our linebackers to what you said with Overshown, with Logan Wilson. I mean, Murray, I don't know, maybe he got a wake-up call too. He looked pretty damn good in that game. I mean, maybe, sometimes when you have a defense, you need some studs around you, and then because you're not the stud. Like Murray, I don't think he's the stud of the defense, but if you put some guys around him where he can kind of just do his job and not think he has to be Superman, maybe he's going to be better. You look at some of the defensive ends. I mean, look at Houston. Obviously Fowler, he didn't really play. I always get him confused with Clowney. I always say Fowler, but Clowney. I mean, Clowney was making plays. Ezeraku, they were showing Ezeraku has been the best defensive end rookie in the NFL so far with pressure percentages, win rates, and things like that. And he's been getting better and better. Wasn't he the one who did the safety? Wasn't he the one who hit the Genty for that safety? I thought it was him.
Yeah.
I thought it was him. Comes up with a sack and the other. So they're getting other guys are stepping up when you're adding other pieces to the puzzle. And like I said, a lot of people were down on Hooker or down on Wilson, but Hooker looked much better. And maybe he was better because he actually had some cornerbacks that he was feeling a little bit better about rather than some of the other ones that were out there. So I think the role players step their game up when they've got some stars or studs around them. And I think that's what you saw in this defense too.
Yeah, and I saw in the chat, Lacey had asked if first I seen K9, and I'm thinking, oh, somebody asking me a question. She's talking about Kenneth Murray and Logan switching back and forth again because they switched a lot during this game. I think we probably will, but I think you'll probably see Logan Wilson get a little bit more as he gets a little bit more integrated into this. I think it's easier for a defensive tackle because Quinnen Williams got a lot of reps in that game. I think it's easier for a defensive tackle to just get in there and do what he needs to do, which is basically clog up the lanes and create pressure and versus a linebacker who's kind of learning a little bit of the new scheme stuff. But I will say this about Kenneth Murray. I say what we want about him. He hasn't been a super solid linebacker for him, but hey, he did have that tip deflection that led to an interception. Yeah. He has made some plays. I'm not sitting there trying to champion him and say he's this great stutter, but he has made some plays at some times. He hasn't been completely terrible, but it will be nice to, like I said, it will be nice to see Logan Wilson be getting in there and get a more steady role in there with him and Overshown. And I mean, we just saw that they waived Damone Clark. He's gone.
Yeah.
So saw him out of there. Yeah, but that looks like they're going to be bringing in another defensive tackle, though, in Perion Winfrey, I think.
Yeah.
He's going to be – they've activated him to the active roster now. So now you're going to have – I mean, you're going to be shuffling out a lot of defensive guys. I saw Jay Toa with a play. I heard his name in the Raiders game the other night. So you're going to see some guys, man. You've got a lot of beef now in that interior of that defensive line and guys that can kind of rotate out and stay fresh in there. So
and I think, too, is the health of the team. I mean, this is about as healthy as the Cowboys have been in a few years at this point in the season. Dak Prescott, don't read much into the hip thing. I mean, whenever they have any kind of, if you've seen anything, they got to report all this stuff. So there's nothing going on with that. It's not significant. Shoddy shot that down, but he warned people, hey, you're going to see it on there. Just don't flip out. He's fine. He just got banged around a little bit in that game, but he's fine. But, I mean, really, Diggs is the only one. He comes back, I think, after this game. Is he eligible? After this game, he's eligible. And
I think so.
I mean, look, I would love to see us get that win and get Diggs back and get the Diggs that we know and that we've seen. And you pair them up with Bland again, and you've got Revel there, and you've got this defense of line and kind of get things going. I haven't given up on Diggs. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but until he's off the team, I'm not giving up on him. He's still got a skill set, so we'll see what happens. But
yeah,
the other thing that was newsworthy was obviously George Pickens. He's been an X factor for this team. What were you thinking? I knew something was up. I knew there was trouble when both of them are on the sidelines in the first series. And, part of me is like, guys, let's fine them. Let's not. But I understand the message. I always have to remind people Michael Irvin was supposed to sit a whole quarter, I believe, quarter or half against the Cardinals. And the Cardinals scored the first series. And Jimmy Johnson said, yeah, we're not doing that. Michael, get back in there. And he scored a touchdown. So, I mean, there's always that fine line you got to walk. But what was your thoughts when you saw that happening? And then we go a quick 3 and out.
Well, first of all, the quick 3 and out was, obviously when you see them on the sidelines, you're thinking, what the hell is going on? You don't know because you're thinking, but I figured it was something disciplinary, right? But listen, I like it. I really do, man. I mean, some people might say, well, it's not that big a thing because it's only one series. I think it sends a message though, because it may have been one series, but it sends a message because it's your two best players on offense outside of your quarterback. Those are your two playmakers. Those are your guys that have been balling out for you all season long. And I think that it says something. It says, listen, if you guys are going to violate rules and you guys are going to, flout curfew, which is what I hear that was for, was basically them being out
gambling late night.
Late night and gambling. Saw a tweet today from one of the Cowboys beat reporters that CeeDee Lamb was seen throwing up on camera at 7:30 in the morning. And so, I mean, listen, it kind of reminded me of Varsity Blues a little bit. But, listen, I'll just say this. I think that as a team, if you see that, one, I don't think CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens took it to heart. You saw them kind of cutting it up on the sideline with Schottenheimer after we started winning the game. I like the message that he sent. Not only that, you saw how they responded when they got onto the field, because when they got onto the field, the offense clicked up another notch. And I mean, George Pickens looked like a man that was just not to be denied. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say something, and I know that we can have them both. And I know we kind of touched on it just a little bit, but I would tell you right now, if somebody told me it comes down to, let's say that it's not now, but let's say that it's maybe in a year, maybe they franchise Pickens and then they got to make a decision, right? If somebody was to tell me you have to pick one, CeeDee Lamb or Pickens, right now I'm taking Pickens. I am, man, 24 years old. I'm not taking anything away from CeeDee Lamb, but only 24 years old and George Pickens. This dude is playing probably some of the best football I've seen from a wide receiver on the Dallas Cowboys since Michael Irvin. And I don't think that's any stretching it and trying to cut up it all, because Des Bryant was great and everything. But you watch George Pickens, the way he gets the ball, the physicality through the tackles, the way that he runs route, the runs after catch, everything about him just says dog. Everything about George Pickens just tells me he's a dog. And I just love the way he's playing right now. He is my favorite player to watch on this Cowboys team this year. And he goes out there and he will not be denied at all. He's a grown ass man.
Probably one of the greatest trades that the Cowboys have made that
absolutely
since I can remember. I mean, you could go back to Haley or something like that, but I mean, just an unbelievable trade of value for what they gave. But the one thing that it's funny because my nephew, he asked my son, he's like, "Hey, would you take Pickens or Lay?" He said he'd take Pickens, and I'm like, my son's like, "You're crazy," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that over." I said, "Lamb's been doing this for years. I mean, Pickens, he's had some trouble." I said, "I got to see it more," but I'm just telling you, every week I watch him play, that it's getting this tide's turning because he just brings some energy. He just brings energy that it's infectious. When you see, I just think back to Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was that kind of receiver, and it became infectious to the team. And I think what George Pickens has meant to this offense, I mean, you can't measure it. And I'm just hopeful that they could continue to be, those two can be the dynamic duo and egos don't get the best of it, to where one is is jealous of the other. I think you can pay them both. I think what the Cowboys did in kind of, with the draft picks and letting go of Parsons, I mean, it opens that opportunity where you can do that and you can restructure some stuff and kind of have that 3-year window, like you said. And then when CD's contract's up, it's kind of like, all right, he's kind of, he's aged, and if he doesn't sign for a lower deal, then you just kind of move on. That's just the nature of the business of the NFL. But yeah, I mean, Pickens is an X factor. He's the engine to that offense, man.
Well, and right now, and yeah, exactly. Right now, I mean, when you look at this offense right now, and I know CD dealt with some injuries and hasn't played the whole season. He missed a couple of games, but right now, when you look at this offense, George Pickens is your number one right now. And that's not taking anything away from CeeDee Lamb, because I still think Lamb is a number one, and I still think Lamb is one of the most talented wide receivers in the league. It's just that right now, Pickens is that guy that just seems to get the offense going. And if you need a big play, it just seems like he's the guy that keeps showing up and making those plays for you. But I agree. I don't think we have to pick. That's the good thing about it. I don't think we have to make that decision. I don't think we have to make that choice. I absolutely think that they can pay both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And I'm hoping like hell during the offseason that Jerry Jones picks up the goddamn phone and calls David Mugheleta, because I know that they got a little bit of a dicey relationship with this whole Parsons thing. But goddamn it, do not negotiate with Pickens. Pick up the goddamn phone, call the agent, make the goddamn deal, and let's get this. Let's make this a wide receiver duo that the NFL defenses have to fear for years to come, because this could be the beginning of something very special. And it looks like CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are very close. I mean, it looks like they love each other. I mean, it really does. It looks like those guys got a brotherhood going. You see them. Even in pregame warmups, they're clowning around with each other. They seem to be very close right now, seem to have a great relationship. And, I understand that wide receivers can be divas. Wide receivers can have those big egos. But I think right now, that those two guys really, really, really like each other. I think they enjoy playing alongside each other because CeeDee Lamb knows it opens things up for him. Pickens knows it opens things up for him. It's a beneficial relationship between those two guys, and they've got a great quarterback throwing the ball in Dak Prescott. So I love it.
It definitely, they help each other out. I 100%, David. I mean, you got to pick your poison. But the thing I would say, Lamb's still the guy with Dak, but what you noticed, and Lacey appreciate it, is when there was some crucial downs and plays in that game, and you've seen it recently. I mean, Dak's going to Pickens. He's not afraid. Like where you saw early in the season, remember, like anytime there was a third down, anytime it was just we got to get it, he was going to Lamb. He was going to Lamb, and that was it. And I think that's a great thing for Dak and a great thing for the offense is that he's got the confidence in all his receivers to be able to do that. One of the other things want to get back to in the keys to Victor, and appreciate everyone in the chat, everyone watching us on all platforms. Make sure you guys hit that like. That thumbs up does a lot for us, believe it or not. just hitting that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube does a lot. If you're watching on Twitter, and I know we get a lot of people on Twitter that love hanging out with us, we definitely appreciate it. If you ever get a chance, slide over to YouTube, and at worst, hit the thumbs up, and then you can go back to Twitter if you want. But that way you can show us the love through there. But just take a second and hit that thumbs up, man. It's right there below our pictures. You'll be able to see it. But other key to victory is really another guy that has kind of been a great signing for the Cowboys. Took a lot of questionable, I don't want to say heat from fans, but it's like, oh man, who's this guy? But Javonte Williams, another the physicality he plays with, the toughness, the hard runs. It's that Marion Barber kind of feel sometimes, right? With some more juice to it. How important is he? We talked about Dak, getting that play action, but how important is he to this offense, especially getting that victory with Philly?
I mean, yeah, it's and somebody just said that in the chat. I'm not sure who it was, but they said, let's not forget that we got a very physical running back, and that defenses respect too. And I agree. Javonte Williams is a guy who this offense has been able to lead on, and we've talked about how the offense seems to kind of flow through Pickens. Well, you can't make that offense flow through Pickens and get it to start getting your receivers if teams don't respect your run game. And right now, teams respect their run game. You've got a very physical back in Javonte Williams that rarely gets hit in the backfield for a loss. It's always a positive yards going forward. And I love watching that. And it also it lets you have that play action that Dak Prescott seems to thrive off of. He does very well when he's able to run play action, and Javonte Williams is a huge reason for that because we're able to run the ball, right? Play action doesn't work very well if you don't got a running back that anybody respects and everybody's just dropping back and having an umbrella coverage over your receivers because they don't respect your run game. That's kind of what I felt like that they did last year a lot of times. With some of the defensive alignments that they put up against the Cowboys because they didn't respect the run game. But it's different this year. You know what I mean? It's a pick your poison type thing. It's like if you're going to load the box and try to stop Williams from getting his, well, then they're going to tear you apart with our wide receivers and Jake Ferguson. If you decide that you're going to go ahead and you're going to drop your guys back and play the pass, well, then Javonte Williams is going to pick up 5-6 yards of carry on you. So he is important to this game, just as important as the receivers. It's got to be a dual effort because if you're not able to run the ball, because we do have to acknowledge the first time we played Philly, Carter was not in that game. You know what I mean? He's at Spitgate, spits at Dak Prescott, and then gets kicked out of the game before it even starts. So. We didn't get to see this Philadelphia defense with him in the middle, and you'd be, a fool to say that he doesn't make a difference in the middle of that defense because he does. So it'll be different this time around. But if we're still able to run the ball with Javonte Williams, which I think we will be able to, we've done it all year long, regardless of who the opponent is. Then I think that it sets up nice for Dak Prescott and these wide receivers to be able to make some big plays down the field.
Yeah, and definitely credit. I mean, Malik Davis has come in, Jadon Blue has kind of been in, I don't want to call the doghouse, but he's just not getting, he's healthy. He's just been a healthy scratch. And Malik Davis has come in well in relief. And like we talked a little bit about Lipke earlier, it was good to see him get in on those third and short, using him in that short yardage, but also a couple key catches out of the backfield as well, which, that's, again, it's just another weapon for the Dallas Cowboys to use. Let's see. And great point. The sport 78. Tyler Booker's better than was the first game of the year. So, there's you look at the first game of the year and you look at where we're playing them now, it is two different teams for the most part. Now, Jalen Hurts said it's the same team that beat us. So we'll see what happens, but I'll speak for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a different team week one. I think the defense is better, and the defense, that was the best game that they played. Our shitty defense was against Philly, but I think our offense is so much better because of Pickens getting more into the offense, and to your point, Booker getting more reps in there as a rookie. He's not so much a rookie anymore, and I'd even almost say Guyton too. I mean, Guyton is got more reps, right? And getting in,
Yeah.
getting young players. So it's going to be interesting. There's a big key. Thank you, Lacey. Stupid penalties. I mean, the Cowboys have got to ensure they don't have any foolish penalties. It wasn't was Dallas got the foolish penalty. Did we have a dumb penalty where we hit a guy late? I thought we did, where Booker or someone came up, one of our linemen just blindsided a Raider like after the play. I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong.
They did. I think that was Tyler Booker that hit a guy and had that penalty. That was
right. I mean, you can't do that.
It was probably the only probably the only boneheaded penalty that I saw the Cowboys make. I did see something up in the chat just a little bit earlier though that somebody said is one of our secret weapons that nobody's talking about, and I don't know necessarily a secret weapon, but I do like what I've seen from him this year. He said number 19. That's Flournoy, Ryan Flournoy. He's been pretty good this year.
Right now, do you give Flournoy the reps at Turpin? I mean, is a Turpin wide receiver experiment over for you?
Yes, I'm tired of watching. Turpin is. Here's the thing, man. Unless it's a go route and you're hitting Turpin over the top, those slant routes, the drag routes, the ones where he's got to catch the ball into his body, and it's not one of these over the top where he's got to catch it into. He jumps every goddamn time he needs to make. He doesn't even need to jump. He jumps unnecessarily and he body catches, and then he's body catching and he's dropping balls, and it's just. I just don't like it, man. I thought Turpin would be a little bit better. Once we started seeing some things from him, I thought I got kind of encouraged, but he literally is too inconsistent with catching the ball, man. Too many drops. I think Ryan Flournoy has shown that he's been able to be more consistent, and I also think he's shown that he's made some pretty big plays. He's made a few big. He kind of remind me a little bit of what Jalen Tolbert was able to do last year. Jalen Tolbert, guy that's kind of MIA this season. We haven't really seen.
You haven't heard much.
I think he's just falling off the face of the earth. I honestly think that right now that I don't really think he's getting really any reps anymore. I think they've seen enough, and I think Ryan Flournoy has absolutely came out there and shown that he's got the ability to make some big plays and create separation is the big thing. I think that a lot of the times when Tolbert made some plays, they were contested. I think Flournoy has been able to create that separation that Tolbert maybe couldn't make. And yes, I do think that if they're going to, if going forward, I think he should be the guy who gets concentrated on more as your number 3 and kind of let's let Turpin kind of take a back seat, because I think that unless it's a gadget play or like I said, or you're throwing a go route, I don't really want to see anything.
I think he's good for that, but the 3 spot I would give to Flournoy, and I would say like Mingo. I think Mingo is a victim of just really bad timing. I think Mingo does have some skills, but he got drafted by a bad Carolina team with a young quarterback. He got traded to a bad Dallas season with the quarterback out for the year, and you're playing with a backup. He showed some flashes in training camp. Then he gets an injury, so he misses the first part of the year. And you got Flournoy, and you've got Pickens, and you've got guys that are stepping up. And there's only so many footballs that passes to go around, and I think he's just kind of lost in the mix of it. It's unfortunate for him, but I mean that happens. And all I could say is, if the opportunity ever opens up, that's why you got to take advantage of it. You can't sit back. You got one shot sometimes, especially when you are, when you're down in that depth chart, you don't really get much opportunity. But yeah, and I would agree with that too. I mean, they had high hopes for Mingo, but with what Ryan's doing, I don't think you can't put him on the bench and just hope that Mingo's going to be bad. I mean, Ryan deserves the playing time, and he deserves more, in my opinion. I agree with you. So, but
yeah.
All right. Yeah. What else do we got, Kelly? What other key to victory? Because we need this victory now. I don't want to go remember the Titans about victory and start doing the chant, but we need this win if there's any hope. I mean, this is playoff mode for the Dallas Cowboys. Make no mistake about it. Back against the wall. They have no room for error. They got maybe one room for error, and that room for error shouldn't be a home game. If there's going to be a room for error, you lose to the Lions on the road, you can deal with it. They've got to win their home games, and it starts with Philly. season on the line mindset. I mean, what other, what about Shoddy? I mean, what are you thinking of his coaching, evolution as this year's gone on? Has he done the right things in your opinion, or are there still things that you scratch your head on? Or what do you think about the coaching decisions and stuff he's made?
I thought Schottenheimer's been great year one. I really do. I really have no beef with him. I feel like he's aggressive when he needs to be. I feel like that the play calling's been good. I thought that he's made some great play calls. I mean, I really, honestly, I don't really have any beef with Schottenheimer at all. I think that the team loves him. I think that, I think he's been a good head coach for year one, and I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward. I really do. I think the players love him, and I think they love playing for him. I think he makes things fun for this team, but I also think that he is doing a good job of not just being a player's coach, and he's holding these guys accountable. And you've seen that on a couple of occasions, whether it be in training camp that we saw some things, or whether it be just the most recent things with putting Pickens and holding Pickens and Lamb back for that first series. He's going about things the right way, and he's not only talking the talk, he's walking the walk. So I like it. And as far as like any more keys to the game, man, the only other thing I would say is that it's time to put belt to ass on Philadelphia and do what we do best, man, and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I know that Philadelphia is sitting there thinking they got us right where they want us, but I'll tell you what, man, their fan base is sure doing a lot of chomping for a 14 win that they say is nothing, for a team that they say ain't gonna be nothing, that ain't shit. And we only just beat the Raiders, and that's not it. But I'll tell you what, them Philly fans doing a whole lot of chirping for a goddamn squad and a fan base that says they ain't scared of the Dallas Cowboys. They're doing a whole lot of chirping, because if it's me and I got 8 wins and it's me lining up on the other side of the 4-win goddamn Philadelphia Eagles, I'm sitting there saying, you know what? I ain't worried about you guys. You guys are light work. I'm worried about my next week's opponent. I'm worried about what I'm going to put on my Thanksgiving plate for dinner. But no, y'all sitting here in our goddamn chat talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all sitting there making whole goddamn weekly content talking about it's Dallas week, because y'all worried about the Dallas Cowboys when y'all come to AT&T Stadium. Y'all worried we going to put belt to ass on y'all, and y'all hate it when the Dallas Cowboys put y'all in y'all place. But Daddy Dak Prescott, he coming, baby. Belt to ass, baby.
Absolutely. I love that, Kelly. I love that fire. That's what we're talking about. This team is definitely going to be hype. And like I said, Dak Prescott, 21-2. I mean, against the NFC East. I don't know another quarterback. Maybe Brady had a record like that. I don't know. But he has dominated at home against the NFC East. 6-1 against the Eagles. There is just something about home cooking with Dak Prescott in this division. That's why I feel really good about this game. And I just think the Cowboys, they've got some momentum. They needed that game. Yeah, it was the Raiders, but yeah, like I said, the Philadelphia runs their mouth on the Raiders, but they got their ass whooped by a 2-win Giants team. So I mean, these guys are professionals, but I couldn't agree more. I think the Cowboys are poised to really go out and just fire at all cylinders. So more importantly, we haven't done this in a while because we hadn't won any predictions. Because I don't like predicting my team's going to lose. I don't want to talk about it. But looking at these predictions with you guys, what are you thinking of this game? What are you seeing? How is this game going to turn out at home? Dallas Cowboys, this starts at 3 games. What is it, 3 and 11 days? I mean, you played on Monday, but now you got Sunday afternoon, and then Thursday against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs coming to town, and then you got to go on the road to the Detroit Lions. I mean, this is a 3-game stretch that'll define the season, obviously, for the Cowboys. But what's your thoughts, Kelly, and how this thing is going to break down? The Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. We'll see what happens. Seems very interesting line for a team that has so many more wins than Dallas, but that goes without saying. Vegas is usually pretty damn smart. So and what I say by that is 3.5 points makes the person who doesn't understand football or study it say I'm taking Eagles all day. I mean, how the hell are you going to give me 3.5? I mean, I'm just giving up 3.5 points against that defense, against this defense that I've been hearing about for a month, but it's not the same defense. So Vegas, I never doubt Vegas. But what is your thoughts, Kelly, on how this game is going to break down? You guys in the chat, let us know. Let us know, good or bad, what you feeling.
So I think that Dallas, here's the thing. I think that it's a matchup thing when it comes to Dallas and Philadelphia. And I honestly think Dallas has the better matchup. I think that Dallas has the better advantages here. I think Dallas has the better offense. I think Dallas right now, I think Philly obviously has the better defense, but I think Dallas's defense is a lot tougher now than what they were the first time they went against them. And I think they were able to handle Philadelphia pretty well the first time around. So I'm as crazy as this sounds, because just a couple weeks ago, I'm just like, God damn, this team. I wouldn't be surprised they don't win another game because they just looked terrible. But that was obviously before the Quentin Williams trade. That was before some things happened. Team comes out, looks different, kind of changed my mind, changed my perspective. And the thing about Philadelphia is, I said they've been finding ways to win, but these have been very close wins. I'm not saying they should complain about these close wins. I'm saying Philadelphia is due to hit a stumbling block, and I think they're about to hit a stumbling block here in Dallas. And I actually think that this game is not going to be a very close game. I actually think Dallas runs away with this game, and I honestly see Dallas winning this game. I've got Dallas 35, Philadelphia 17.
Wow, that is that's bold.
Yeah.
I
think Philly fans are going to be running and scrambling and hiding under rocks like cockroaches when the lights come on in a trailer park after Sunday, because I'm just going to tell you right here, I'm going full throttle in on you guys if that happens. Any of you Eagles fans out there, Carl, when you come to the show next week, I'm coming for you, buddy. Coming for you. And Bobby, you better show up in the show. Bobby, better show up too next week. Bobby, show up.
Well, they'll be hiding. They'll be hiding. Interesting nuggets, because you said a couple of things that make me wonder. And the Eagles, with their record, they have, aside from some of the bad teams that have bad records that are winning their division, but let's say these elite teams, the teams that have that 7-8 wins or more, the Eagles' point differential is only plus 33. That's not, I mean, divide that by 9, yeah, right? They played 8-9 games, whatever. Let's say it's 9 games, 33. If my Broward high school education's right, that's about 3.5 points a game difference. It's really not much. So they've been in very close games all year. Dallas, interesting enough, the shitty record that they have, their point differential is like -3. It's basically even. It's basically even. So both teams kind of play it close. Both teams play it close. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I mean, I don't want to get too. I'm praying that Kelly is right. I want to come in here next week and say, Kelly, my man, you're Nostradamus. I love it. But I do think Dallas wins. I think styles make fights, and I think if you watch the first game, the style made the fights, and I think Dallas outplayed them. They didn't get the win, so it is what it is. But Dallas outplayed them in pretty much every aspect of the game. I just think Dallas is a bad matchup for Philly. I think they're a bad matchup for their defense. And I think because Philly has no identity on offense, they're not the best matchup for our defense, because the teams that dominate us are usually, they're going to chuck it down the field and they're going to be aggressive and this and that. And Philly plays it very close to the vest on offense. So I do see Dallas winning. I don't think they're going to put up 35. I think Philly's defense is pretty stout. I think it's going to be 24-17, something like that. Dallas is in control the whole game. Philly maybe gets a late touchdown to make it look closer than it is, but I think it'll be a tighter game. But I think Dallas Cowboys will go away with the victory. And Philly fans, you can kiss my ass, because I'm telling you what, and I know Kelly's going to be obnoxious. I'll be very obnoxious. You just better pray that you guys win, because I am salivating to unleash on every Philly fan that been popping their chops all year, because it will show the world that Sunday what a bunch of frauds you guys are. And maybe Dallas don't make the playoffs. Maybe we can't get it. But I know damn well you guys are frauds and you ain't going nowhere. So I'd be the first one to love to do it on national television to show what a bunch of frauds you are. Because I think if Dallas beats, I think, like you said, Kelly, I think they implode. I think the locker room is going to implode, starting with A.J. Brown. What do you think?
Yeah, it's getting close. It's getting close. And I don't think it's going to take much. And I think if you got a game where you can go in and, like I said, if it's 35-17, basically embarrass the Eagles, and AJ Brown has another shit game where Hurts can't get him the ball, which he hasn't done all season long. So I don't think he's going to start now. I think AJ Brown's. I think he's ready. I think he's been looking for an excuse to implode. So I can't wait to see it. Yeah. Just let that house of cards come tumbling down.
It's going to be tumbling down, and definitely we love everyone who's been hanging out with us for the hour. We got over 400 of you guys in the cave, man. Like I said, show us some love. Go over to YouTube, hit subscribe, hit that like, share, all that kind of good stuff, man. We will be back. I don't know, probably going to be doing a Sunday show, so we usually do a pregame. I know Greg likes to get up. Kelly, if you're around, it's Philly, so it might be some fun. If you're around, we'll jump in and just talk some shit and see what happens. And I think the Cowboys, win this one, man. I'm just telling you, if they win Sunday, the pressure on the teams that we play, this team just needs some good vibes, man. Needs some good vibes. And if they get that going, man, I think the Cowboys have an opportunity. Some people say it can't be done, but don't forget 3-5. 3-5, and we make the Amari Cooper trade. And the Eagles do probably one of the biggest collapses. I think they were 10-1 or what it was. They were whatever the record there were at the one point. They lost all those games in a row, and we ended up winning the division. So we could see another collapse. I
like the L's in the chat.
Yeah, that's all for Carl.
L's in the chat for Carl. Just L's in the chat. Everybody in the chat spam the shit out them L's. I like it. Cut's got it going. Let's go. Let's keep it going. L's in the chat. L's in the chat for old Carl.
Absolutely.
Carl. Can't spell Carl without an L.
You can't spell Carl without an L.
Can't spell Carl without an L.
All right, guys. We appreciate it, man. Hopefully you guys have a good one. We'll be back Sunday. Saturday, we got big college football. The McCains are playing nobody, but we got to win. You guys are creeping up real quick. I'll get a little college in it. You guys are creeping up. I mean, you're moving up in the list. Do you have a tough game left, or is it pretty much cakewalk until you get to the championship?
West Virginia, and then it's the Big 12 championship.
Okay, so you got one more left. I don't understand. I'm going to just say, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't understand how Utah and BYU are ranked as high as they are. I think it's embarrassing they're ahead of my Hurricanes. I don't think they've played anybody. When they played a real team, they got the dog shit beat out of them. So I don't know. I just need you guys to make sure you beat the hell out of them again when you get in that Big 12. If you guys are playing BYU, I don't know who you're going to play.
Well, I think right now it's going to be BYU, I believe, plays Cincinnati. And I think the winner of Cincinnati BYU will be who we will play for the Big 12 championship. So it's either going to be BYU or Cincinnati. I think that's the way that it's going to play out. So I'm not worried about either one of those teams, whether it's Cincinnati or whether it's BYU playing them again, because I think that we would dominate either one of those teams. Regardless. So I think it's basically now it's just down to if Texas Tech wins their next two games, if they win West Virginia, which they'll win that, and then if they win the Big 12 championship, then I think it vaults them up to a number 4 seed. And I think that they're looking at a bye at that point, which, I mean, I would kind of like to get a home game. It'd be cool to have a game there in Lubbock. I think that'd be cool for the fans and everybody just to have that atmosphere. And I think it would go nuts over there in Lubbock. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain about one less game on the way on the road to the national championship. So do what we got to do, man. They got to just keep winning. Joey McGuire says it every week. 1-0. You want to go 1-0. So we got this weekend off.
Do you think if sorry to cut you off, my son and I were talking about this. If you play BYU and let's say BYU beat you in the championship game, Do you think it would be fair for you guys to get knocked out of the playoffs and BYU be in the playoffs, or like?
No, I don't. I don't think so, and I don't think that. I don't think that a loss in the Big 12 championship would knock Tech out. I think it would knock them to a much lower seed, but I think they'd still be in it with 2 losses.
Do you
I
think
think that they.
BYU would be knocked out with 2 losses to you? Like, do you think that would detriment them getting in the
I
playoffs?
think. I think if BYU loses another game, yeah, I don't know that they'll. I don't know that they'll make it.
Yeah, I just need you to drum them. I don't know how they're ranked ahead of Miami. It kind of pisses me off of BYU. And
You know, on the playoff thing that I saw though, I didn't see. Are they ranked in front of them in the college playoff system?
they're ranked. They're ranked ahead of them right now.
In the top 25 or in the playoff bracket?
In the top 25.
Because somebody showed me the playoff bracket and said that BYU and Utah currently are outside. They're
They are
not
outside, but they're ranked ahead. And the tricky part is Miami is in there because they're saying that they're going to, let's say that's the highest ACC team. But the chances that Miami have to make it to the ACC championship are very slim because of the uncommon schedule. It's one bracket. So, like, Virginia doesn't really play anybody. So they're in. And if Georgia Tech doesn't lose, they're in. So Miami would have to get an at-large bid to be able to get in, which they feel they will if they win out. So it's just kind of tricky because when you have that's why I'm not – if you're going to do these playoff brackets, I don't know if you should have – championship games. I think it causes more problems because Miami's ranked higher than all these teams, but because none of them played Miami and none of them, they never had a head-to-head opportunity to play each other because of the unbalanced schedule, because they put all the teams in one division. I don't know if you should have championship games. I think it causes more problems.
Yeah.
They put Georgia Tech in over Miami, let's say, because they win the ACC, but Miami's ranked 10 and Georgia Tech's ranked 13 or 14. It just doesn't, it seems odd, but you know what I mean?
So you know, that's the only bad thing about when it comes to college football is that there's a lot of weird factors that go into it. And then there's, you know, I feel like that you've got your, you know, your people that are always pushing their agendas and stuff. I mean, because you've got, you know, you've got guys that start pushing, you've got coaches that start pushing for their team and making their case amongst the committee. And honestly, I think it should just boil down to I just think it boils down to you take the teams that are ranked the highest. I think that because then once you start getting into, okay, well, this person's wins were better than this person's wins. I think that that's kind of a hypothetical scenario though, because, you know, you get all these people talking about, well, Tech ain't beating nobody. And they're like, because BYU's overrated, Utah's overrated, right? Well, the thing is that how do you know that you couldn't take one of those teams from the SEC and that one of those teams wouldn't lose a game to BYU or Utah, or that Texas Tech couldn't go in there and compete in the SEC right now? Because I think they could. They've got a SEC style defense with beating the dog shit out of everybody we played, with the exception of the one loss, Arizona State. But you start putting too much hypothetical scenarios into these, because you've got the strength of schedule thing and all this stuff. And we've seen in the past, teams that may not be the best team on paper come out and beat the team that was ranked higher. And because it's about who's better on that day. And I think that's what makes the playoffs. That's what makes the playoffs beautiful, because I don't think that, I mean, you even look at the NFL. You look back at the New York Giants. Did anybody think that team that beat the undefeated Patriots, did anybody think that Giants team, that if they didn't play the Patriots 10 times, that the Patriots wouldn't win 9 out of 10? But no, the Giants showed up that day with their A game and they won. And I think that's how you should do it in the college playoffs too, is let the teams that are ranked the highest, that have went out there and they won all year, whether it's one loss, whether it's 2 loss, whatever it may be, let those teams line up in the college playoffs and stop having these committees vote on, you know, whose resume is better and all this other crazy shit. There's just too much analytics that go into it for me.
And it's like, you know, I don't mean to drag it out. It'll be real quick. It's like, you know, Miami beat Notre Dame handily, beat them handily.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to factor Miami beating Notre Dame, and these two are neck and neck, same record, and Miami beat them handily, how are you going to put Notre Dame in and not Miami? Then Miami should never play a Notre Dame. You should just play cupcakes, because if you're not going to value beating a top team and beating them handily, I mean, they did. I know the score was close in the end, but anyone who watched the game, Miami dominated that game the whole time. You know what I mean? They gave some garbage touchdowns in the end of the game when it was out of hand, but Miami dominated it. So that's where it just gets frustrating is, you know, you got to factor in these things. And when you add these championship games in and the way the schedule is, you don't even have a chance to play in it because just kind of the way it worked out. I think Miami will be fine. It's like, they got to win. Like I told myself, you got to just win. If you lose, you got no crying. I mean, it is what it is, but Miami wins out. They should have their opportunity to get in the playoffs, and they should be able to be in there. So we'll see what happens. So
yeah, well, I'm ready, man.
I love college football. It's the passion those kids play with. It's still, I know they got the NIL and all that, but the fans, when you go to the games, it's still the best atmosphere. A big college football game, nothing beats it. So
I agree, man. I'm ready to see how this season ends up, man.
All right, brother. Well, you take care. Everyone else, have a good one. We'll see you before game day. You guys take care. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.